Evening, Mark here from Excel, and a quick evening wine tasting of two excellent wines from Stellenbosch from Stark-Conde. This is actually only one of them. I've just recorded a quick tasting of the Stark-Conde Field Blend White 2019 elsewhere. By all means have a quick look for that. But this is a tasting of the Stark-Conde Cabernet Sauvignon from Stellenbosch 2018. Now this wine, the 2017 vintage of it, did remarkably well last year. Got a great review out of decanter from Christian Eads, described as seamless and voluptuous, a number of things. And it was remarkably popular. As ever with these things, when it's remarkably popular, it sells out very fast. And so we've had to wait for the 2018 vintage to come in. It is now here. And so this is a tasting really to look at how the 2018 compares with that rather popular 2017 from last year. Quick thing about it. It is badged as a Cabernet Sauvignon, but actually it's 85% Cabernet Sauv, which is what allows it to qualify as being purely badged as Cabernet Sauvignon. It's about 10% Petit Verdot in there, which adds a bit of inkiness, blackness, colour, tannin, and a few other 1-2% components, Petit Syrah, a bit of Malbec, a bit of Cabernet Franc in there. Now, I think when I described this wine last year, I've always got two concerns really about New World 100%, close to 100% varietal Cabernet Sauvignon. One is, and particularly the Australian stuff, can be really quite herbaceous and have this kind of, how to describe it, eucalyptusy, gummy sort of flavour to it, which in small components and small amounts can be really nice, but it can be quite overpowering and overdone. And secondly, there's this thing with Cabernet Sauvignon when it's made on its own, that it can have a great structure, can have really good tannins and acidity, but actually it can lack fruit. And there's this thing talked about in Cabernet Sauvignon about the so-called hole in the mid-palate, whereby it's got great flavours, but it just misses something in the middle. And so I'm always a bit concerned when I try one like this to think, well, is that going to be a problem with it? Anyway, as soon as you get a sniff of it, you think, no, does not have this problem. And both on the nose and on the palate, you know you're into a Cabernet Sauvignon, which is, for want of a better phrase, quite crowd-pleasing. On the nose, there is an immediate ripeness, a real blackness to it. It's got the classic blackcurrant cassis flavour to it, but there is a sweetness to it, which talks more of bramble and plum and damson, which suggests really quite a ripe, warm harvest. Now, I don't know my South African harvests all that well, so I could be wrong, but there is a warmth, a richness to that. Tasted and going on memory, compared with last year, acidity a bit lower, tannins plusher, more velvety, more silky, a little bit more, as I would describe them, a bit more cracked. They don't fur up the mouth, they're not as grippy. This is a plusher, richer, smoother, easier going wine, and it is more crowd pleasing. It is definitely more immediate. What I would say about it is it can be drunk sooner, it can be drunk now. If you've still got some of last year's, which we said at the time was a wine with structure, a wine which you could drink then if you liked your Cabernet Sauvignon then, but would probably sell it for 10, 12 years. I don't think this will sell up all that well. I don't think this is a wine for the long haul, but it gives immediate pleasure, has a real likability to it straight away. I think it'll probably sell up 5-6 years, perhaps 20, 26, 27, something there. Probably wouldn't hold on to it an awful lot more than that, but really attractive. Soft, plush, even, easy, unmistakably Cabernet Sauvignon, but a softness which is quite unusual with Cab Sauv, and works really well as a 100% varietal. I think Stark-Conde have done it again. It's the same price. It's a wine really to like and enjoy, and yes, I'd get involved.